Why is it that some people can walk into a room, say a few words, and instantly have everyone hanging on their every sentence, while others struggle to make even the slightest impression? The difference often comes down to one simple thing: the ability to make someone laugh. But not just any laugh, the kind of laugh that creates a memory, a connection, a moment that lingers long after the conversation ends. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly unforgettable to someone you were attracted to? That moment when you knew you'd made an impression that wouldn't fade with time? For many of us, those moments are rare. We've been taught that attraction is about looking good, having status, or mastering complex dating strategies. But what if the most powerful tool for creating genuine connection was something far more accessible, something you already possess: your unique sense of humor? You see, laughter isn't just about entertainment, it's about chemistry. When someone laughs with you, really laughs, something profound happens in their brain, something that science has been studying for decades, but that most dating advice completely overlooks. Let me explain. When we laugh, our brains release a cocktail of chemicals: dopamine, serotonin, and endorphin. These are the same neurochemicals associated with pleasure, reward, and falling in love. This isn't just theory. Research from neuroscientists at Vanderbilt University found that genuine laughter activates the same neural pathways as attraction. Every time you make someone laugh, you're literally creating positive associations with your presence in their mind. You're becoming unforgettable, neurologically speaking. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think being funny means telling jokes, memorizing punchlines, trying to be a comedian. And that's exactly why they fail. Because the kind of humor that makes you unforgettable isn't about performing, it's about connecting. Think about the funniest people in your life, the ones who make you laugh until your sides hurt. Are they reciting jokes they found online? Or are they sharing observations, stories, and perspectives that feel authentic and unexpected? The most memorable humor comes from authenticity, not performance. So how do you develop this kind of natural, connection-building humor that makes you impossible to forget? Let me walk you through the 4 principles that transform ordinary conversation into unforgettable moments. First, observation over fabrication. The most powerful humor comes from simply noticing what others miss. It's about seeing the absurdity in everyday situations and bringing it to light in a way that makes others think, yes, I've always felt that, but never knew how to express it. This kind of observational humor creates an immediate bond. It says, we see the world the same way. And when someone feels understood by you, when they feel you share a perspective, they're far more likely to remember you. Think about how Jerry Seinfeld built an entire career not on jokes, but on observation. What's the deal with airplane food? It's not hilarious on paper, but it resonates because it speaks to a shared experience. Second principle, self-awareness over self-deprecation. There's power in being able to laugh at yourself, but not if that laughter comes from a place of insecurity. True self-aware humor says, I know exactly who I am, I'm comfortable with it, and I invite you to enjoy the reality of me. This confidence is magnetic. When you can playfully acknowledge your quirks without seeming desperate for approval, you demonstrate a level of self-assurance that's rare and remarkably attractive. The key difference is intention. Are you making fun of yourself to beat others to the punch? Or are you sharing your human experience with warmth and perspective? One pushes people away, the other pulls them closer. The third principle, timing over content. Even the most brilliant observation falls flat with poor timing, but sometimes a simple comment delivered at the perfect moment can create laughter that echoes for days. Timing isn't just about when you speak, it's about reading the emotional climate of a conversation. It's about knowing when a moment of lightness is needed and when it's time to be serious. This emotional intelligence, knowing when humor will land and when it won't, is what separates forgettable attempts at funny from unforgettable moments of connection. Great timing shows that you're present, that you're listening, that you're tuned into the subtle frequencies of human interaction, and nothing is more memorable than feeling truly seen by another person. The fourth and final principle, specificity over generality. Generic humor disappears into the background noise of life. But specific observations, the kind that could only come from your unique perspective, these create imprints in memory. When you reference something specific about a shared experience, you're not just being funny, you're saying, I noticed that detail too. We experienced this moment together, and that feeling of shared experience is the foundation of all human connection. Think about it. When someone says, dating is hard, you might nod in agreement. But when they say, you know that moment when you're on a first date and you can't decide whether to go for the handshake or the hug, so you end up doing this weird hybrid move that looks like you're about to start a square dance. Now you're not just nodding, you're laughing, you're connecting, you're remembering. Here's where most dating advice gets humor completely wrong. Most experts tell you to memorize jokes or funny stories, to prepare material like you're about to go on stage. But authentic humor can't be prepackaged. It emerges naturally from genuine interaction. The truth is, becoming unforgettably funny isn't about learning to tell jokes. It's about developing a humorous perspective, a way of seeing and interpreting the world that invites others to see it through your eyes. So how do you cultivate this perspective? First, start paying attention, really paying attention, not just to the obvious, but to the absurd contradictions that exist all around us, the strange social rituals we all participate in without questioning, the peculiar ways humans behave when they think no one is watching. These observations are the raw material of authentic humor. Second, embrace vulnerability. The most memorable humor often comes from sharing the thoughts most people keep hidden, the silent commentary running through all our minds that we're usually too afraid to voice. When you dare to speak these thoughts aloud, with warmth and without malice, you create instant recognition. That moment of, I thought I was the only one who felt that way. Third, focus on creating shared joy, not proving how clever you are. Humor that connects isn't about establishing superiority. It's about celebrating our common humanity. When your primary goal is connection rather than impression, your humor naturally becomes more authentic and more unforgettable. Finally, practice the art of playful reframing. This means developing the ability to take everyday situations and view them through a slightly twisted lens that reveals their inherent humor. It's not about making light of serious matters. It's about finding the light in the midst of life's complexity. Now, I want to be clear about something. This approach to humor isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about amplifying who you already are. Everyone, yes, everyone, has the capacity for humor. It's not a trait you either have or don't. It's a muscle you can develop with practice and attention. And unlike physical attraction, which can fade, or status, which can change, the connection created through shared laughter only deepens with time. Think about the relationships in your life that have lasted decades. I bet they all involve laughter, moments of joy that became touchstones you return to again and again. Remember when those three words almost always precede a story that made you both laugh. So if you want to become truly unforgettable to someone special, stop focusing so much on impressing them. Stop worrying about saying exactly the right thing. Instead, start looking for opportunities to create moments of authentic joy together. Because here's the truth about human connection that most people miss. We don't remember people for their perfection. We remember them for the moments when they made us feel something. And few feelings are as powerfully bonding as genuine laughter. When you make someone laugh, really laugh, you're giving them a gift, a moment of release, a pause in life's endless demands, and they'll associate that feeling of freedom, of joy, of presence with you. They may forget what you were wearing. They may forget your clever opening line. They may even forget your name at first, but they won't forget how you made them feel. So the next time you're talking to someone you're interested in, worry less about being interesting and focus more on being interested. Interested enough to notice the details others miss. Interested enough to share your authentic perspective. Interested enough to create a moment of connection through shared humor. Because that's what makes you unforgettable. Not trying to be someone else's idea of funny, but being uniquely, authentically you, with a perspective that brings joy to others. That's the kind of humor that creates not just memories, but the foundation for something that could last a lifetime. So go ahead, see the world through eyes that notice the absurd, share those observations with warmth and timing. Create moments of joy that linger long after the conversation ends. Because when you make someone laugh like that, they won't just remember you tomorrow, they'll be telling stories about you for years to come.